Hey everybody, Raven here, and today I want to talk about silver. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you know that beautiful precious metal that we all love because right now is an exciting time in the precious metals market. We're seeing historic pricing for gold and silver, and other precious metals are going up in value at the same time. Now, what's going to happen next? The honest truth is nobody really knows. Nobody has that magic crystal ball out there that can tell them the exact day that silver's going to shoot to the moon or the exact day that silver might crash and burn like it has done historically. I have some notes written here, so I'm going to be looking down quite a bit to keep us on track, but please bear with me because these recent surges in silver prices have been incredible. The precious metals market, silver was about $34 an ounce in June, and it has now seemed to be holding fast at $52 plus. Today it closed at $52.32 per ounce, and that is a phenomenal increase, ladies and gentlemen, because if silver got up to $68, that'd be 100% increase in just a few months' time. Now, this huge increase in price has actually led to bringing in new investors and even sparking interest in stackers. And for once, silver has even sparked the interest of your mainstream media outlets. The rise in silver price has led to an increased demand for physical silver. However, there are a ton of people selling their silver and making huge profits. It seems at this point that silver has finally hit a sweet spot of buyers and sellers and has created what some would say a perfect storm. Now, where silver has maintained this over $50 market value because you have an equal amount of sellers and buyers going on. That's very important to what's happening right now, where silver has stayed settled at the $50 plus level. Investors are now excited about silver, and this could lead to some really interesting outcomes. Silver could make that jump to triple digits, according to some experts. However, there's a flip side, and silver could face a substantial drop in the form of a market price correction. Now, historically, silver has made some huge jumps in value only to be crashed down, and the amounts of the prices were lower than previously seen. You see silver jump to $40 and then go down below 15, 13 bucks in 2009, which is pretty crazy, but it has happened. Now, some of you are probably saying, Raven, this is a completely different situation. Prior jumps in silver were during a manipulated market, and the only way that silver stays at a higher price is if the demand continues to increase and supply remains low. In the end, it all comes down to speculation, with some people believing silver will blast into triple digits and others forecasting that silver will have a major dip in price back down to prices that were seen historically at very low. In coin shops, the demand for physical silver has dipped somewhat as many traditional stackers have been outpriced. However, the selling side remains substantially higher, and some shops are actually struggling to keep up with the cash flow it takes to keep buying this stuff. The influx of sellers to coin shops has been absolutely insane, ladies and gentlemen. I can tell you by working at a shop and knowing multiple local coin shop owners in the state of Oklahoma, shops have people lined up when they're opening on their Monday morning. Now, our shop opens Tuesday, 10 a.m., and I will have about 10 to 15 people in the first hour all selling large amounts of silver. That is very hard on the local coin shop owners because right now the smelters have you seen in my prior videos, smelters aren't buying as much silver as they have in the past. So that's creating a problem, and they're basically having to stockpile silver. On the flip side, though, of this is the online bullion dealers seem to be doing very well. Their premiums are up really high. JM Bullion has the majority of their silver eagles at about $9 above spot. It's about the same, but a little cheaper if you shop around on the site. They have some years offered. Excuse me. They have some years offered at a little bit around $8. But if you get the random years, it's a little about $7 over spot. Um, SD Bullion is doing better for the price, and they normally are the better price among the bullion dealers. They're the most reasonable. APMEX seems to have the higher prices on Silver Eagles, but each site they offer you, if you do the random year selected Silver Eagles, you can get them on average for about $7.50 over spot. Now the local coin shops right now are between $2 and $4 above spot. They can't hit these premiums that the big bullion dealers are doing. However, some of these big bullion dealers are the suppliers in a lot of instances to the local coin shops. Now, don't get caught up in the fear of missing out, aka FOMO. Watch out for the markets closely, make informed decisions, and again, nobody knows what's actually going to happen in the silver market. Right now, it's all speculation. It's really interesting and exciting to see the future of precious metals, especially for gold and silver, ladies and gentlemen. We're living through some pretty interesting times. There is a huge market demand in Asia, in India, for silver. There are things that we have just not seen as a whole. We talked about this perfect storm earlier. Now, in the perfect storm, like I said, you have a equal basically number of sellers and buyers, and silver availability is kind of low because of that. You know, supply and demand sparks everything in commodities and precious metals. It's a very important thing to consider that, you know, you see in a bad year of crops, all of a sudden, if there's a problem in Florida and orange juice is, or the orange farmers, they're hit with a freeze, price of orange juice shoots way up. It's because there's still a huge demand, but the supply has dropped really low. Now, in the years that you see these same people do really well, all of a sudden there's a overabundance of juice on the market, price goes down. This could happen with silver. If the mainstream media stops having the kind of interest they've had in silver and the demand drops drastically, you could see a huge plunge in the silver price, and it'll be one of those things where people will say, hey, I told you so. But like I said, there is also that other side of the coin. There's a lot of really big experts that are predicting $100 plus silver. Here's the thing. It only takes silver going to $68 an ounce to be double what it was in June. We're not even into the end of the year yet. We're talking in less than 6 months. It's come to about a 70-something%, just doing math at the top of my head, increase. It only needs to go up another, $16 an ounce to be twice what it was back in June. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to correspond, it's ravenhawkcoins@gmail.com. Our P.O. Box is 721-296, Norman, Oklahoma, 73070. Like always, please make sure to take care of one another, and we'll see you real soon. Ravenhawk Coins, have a great day.